everyone. Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. So I'm here for another Rain Country Q&A, and I believe this is number 14. So anyway, the first topic I wanted to cover was solar oven cooking. Now, unfortunately, I didn't write down what the exact question was, but somebody was asking me about solar oven cooking. And I do have videos, tips on shopping for a solar oven. For those who are interested, if I know people are like, oh, well, there's the AllAmerican sun oven, and I don't have one of those, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I already had a solar oven long before I even heard of AllAmerican, but it's no longer made. Mine is a solar bore. We bought it, gosh, I don't even know. It was long before I even had my YouTube channel. And it was a more local person that was saying they had that one and recommended it. So we bought it. But yeah, that one's not made anymore. So I can't even link to it. But just from what I've learned from other people and looking at videos and images of the products, my guess is that the AllAmerican is made better. The Solarvore is made cheaply. That was one of the things I realized as soon as I got it in. Like, I paid $200 for it. It doesn't seem like it just seemed like it was made kind of cheaply. Like it's got two layers to the front cover, or the clear part. And the back of it is a thinner plastic. It's the front section is thick, but the back is just like an extra layer for insulation. It's actually pretty thin. And it was basically just taped into place with like a clear plastic tape. And I'm like, but it's worked and it's lasted for years. But then a couple weeks ago, or was it last week, the kids were all playing on the deck. And I always keep it out on the deck, especially this time of year. And Rowan and Jace took that lid, laid it on the deck, and decided to start jumping up and down on it. And they cracked that back piece, but thankfully it wasn't the harder plastic front. But I did what they did and just took some clear plastic tape and taped across the crack and then retaped the edges where it had pulled away because the kids were jumping on it. Anyway, that's a side note, but it's still, despite all that, it's been a decent enough oven. I've been doing some solar oven baking in it already, which is pretty impressive this time of year because we have such a short season to be able to use a solar oven and have it, actually get the food done. But we've had nice enough and long enough sunny days. I've been actually able to, bake a chicken, make some soup, and I did a meatloaf the other day. Unfortunately, the potatoes didn't get done. The meatloaf got done, but the potatoes didn't get done. But it was kind of a weird day where it was like sunny and then cloudy and sunny, cloudy, sunny. So now, mostly what I was going to talk about was not so much the comparison between different sun ovens or solar ovens, like I put in the description box, that tips on shopping for a solar oven. Oh, by the way, also in that video, and in the description box, I linked to a blog page where somebody gives instructions on how to just make your own solar oven, basically out of trash, cardboard, aluminum foil, an old picture frame with the glass in it. You can build your own for very cheap. And if you do two boxes, one box is smaller than the other, and you got maybe at least a gap that big between the sides, you can just stuff the sides with balled up newspaper, and that will give that insulation layer. So anyway, yeah, if you go to that video, you can find the link to that in the description under that video. So you can even build your own and not have to spend $300, $400, $500 on a solar oven. And there are different sizes and costs and types, and it's all going to depend on your lifestyle and what you need it for, how you plan on using it. Are you going to use it year round? Which I could not do here. Absolutely not. We only get a total of 3 months of sun, so duh. But it's still nice to have. I still like using it when I can. But the trick is there are some differences in baking in a solar oven. Now, I should say cooking in a solar oven. I can't remember if I've ever tried baking bread. I don't think I have. I need to at some point. But I do meals and soups and things like that, or things that just need to be heated up. So easy. But no matter, I think no matter what your solar oven is, well, I'm sure that will play a part, as well as how much direct sun you get and how hot it gets and how well insulated your solar oven is. It's still generally like using a slow cooker, except you don't use as much water, if any. So, like if you're doing a roast, for example, or baking a chicken, if I'm doing it on the wood stove, I'm going to add a good amount of water to the bottom of it so it doesn't burn, and it keeps it moist in there, and the meat doesn't dry out and all that. But in a solar oven, you don't add any water to your roast, to your chicken, none, because it doesn't need it. It's going to build up enough moisture on the inside without added water. And by adding water to the pan that you're using, it's actually going to increase the time it takes it to bake when it's in a solar oven. Now, there's obviously little tricks that you can use. So having a solar oven that, like mine, has the reflectors that I can take off. I don't know if the ones that come with the AllAmerican Sun oven are removable. I've never seen it without the reflectors on. And sometimes you don't want the reflectors on. Even here, I don't always want the reflectors on. If it's a really hot day and I know what I stuck in there is going to cook really fast, I don't want the reflectors on. But more often than not, I'm going to use the reflectors because of where we live. So it's, even though you can, the nice thing about a solar oven is you can put something in there and hardly ever, if at all, worry about it burning. And it can sit in there all day. So if you put it in there early in the day and you can set it in a place where, and at an angle where no matter what time of the day it is, it's going to get at least some of the sun. And then you can leave for the day and come back and your food should be done, generally speaking. Now here, because I'm kind of limited to only doing it on the deck and only have, so much area of sun because of especially the grapevines once they fill in, I have to move the solar oven around during the day because at certain parts of the day, then the place I had it where the sun was shining directly on it earlier in the day is now shaded by the porch, the patio umbrella, or the grapevines. And so then I have to keep moving it across the deck and then turning it to follow the sun. And so that's really important, especially if you live in a place or have a setup like we do where it's not going to get all day direct sun. So do I think purchasing a solar oven is worth it? I absolutely do. It's just a matter of finding what's going to work for you or making your own. Like I said, I would actually suggest, because it's not like it requires any real skill to do, especially if you look at how it's done. You can make one without having to be a carpenter. Like I said, I loved the idea of taking an old picture frame with the glass still in it. That's your lid. You got the glass, you got the frame, couple of boxes, aluminum foil. You can use some stove black paint on the inside if you want because it helps absorb more heat, or just use the aluminum foil, one of the two. And some newspaper for insulation. I keep saying one of these days I'm going to do that. The problem I have with that is here, sometimes you can look like, oh, it's a beautiful sunny day, I'm going to put something in the solar oven. And then you might walk away and forget about it, and then it starts pouring down rain. That I don't know how I feel about a cardboard box being left out there. At any rate, what I can say is that the American Sun oven is definitely heavier. Even though I've never picked one up, I know it's heavier in weight. And one of the things I liked about the Solarvore better than the Sun oven, just by looking and comparing, is the shape of it. Where the Sun oven it's more narrow and tall, where the one I have is more wide but shorter, which means I can stick a bigger, like an oval shaped casserole dish in there. Now, when it comes to the kind of dishes or pans you want to use in there, like I think the American Sun oven comes with a couple of pans, and so did the Solarvore. You get two of the black enamelware pans. The nice thing about those, when it comes to using a solar oven is because they're thinner than cast iron and because they're black, they're going to heat the food up on just like that. They're going to heat the food up better and it's going to cook better. Now, I did the other day when I baked a chicken in there, try something new because I've never done this before. I've always used those pans like that, the enamelware ones. You know what I mean? I know a lot of you know what I mean, but if you don't know what I mean, those are the kind that are typically either a dark blue or a black, and they got like a white speckling on them. And they always come with a lid. You really want a lid on your pans when you're baking. And anyway, what I decided to try differently is that when I was baking the chicken, I have these really nice, I think it's Farberware, stainless steel pans or that I bought. They can be used as a pot, like more of a shallow, wide pot or a baking pan. And they're about this big. I love them because they're stainless steel and they come with a glass lid. And I thought, I'm going to try baking in this to see how well it does. And I wasn't sure since the lid was glass. I mean, it's see-through and it's not black collecting the heat. But then I'm like, but then again, it's clear. So it's going to get the sun shining directly on that. And I can actually look through the solar oven and see into the pan and see how things going. And I don't have to keep opening it up, taking the reflectors off, opening the lid, opening the pan to see how my chicken or my roast is coming along. It worked great. I liked it way better than using the enamelware because of that. Is it true that you can put a frozen chicken in and it's done by dinner? That is all going to depend on the solar oven you're using and how much sun you're getting. I don't think it might on a good hot day, as long as they don't have any clouds here, that might work for us. It seems like I stuck a partially frozen roast in my solar oven before and it was done by dinner, but it had to be a really nice day. It's American Sun. Oh, it's American Sun Oven, not AllAmerican Sun Oven. I'm thinking AllAmerican Canner. There's the AllAmerican Canner and then the American Sun Oven. Sorry. Thank you, Tammy. I'm always messing those up. American is taking a break from making them and selling the last of their inventory. I saw Doug and Stacy and it was mentioned on their live. Okay. Well, there you go. I wonder if they're going to put them on sale. I guess with that said, I won't feel so bad about sharing my little story and why I was kind of irritated with them. And it's because when the original owners, the ones who got the company up and going, they sold out their company to somebody else, if I understand correctly. Well, before they did that, I think they had reached out to me or I had reached out to them because I really wanted to try their solar oven because I'd been hearing, I've heard Doug and Stacy talk about it. And I've heard, seems like there was somebody that had both, but they liked both for different reasons. Same one that I had, and then the American Sun Oven. And I thought, well, it would be kind of nice to do the comparisons for myself. I wonder if they'd be willing to, send me a solar oven so I could try it out, because that's what they do, like a lot of other places that do affiliates, and then I could do a review. And they agreed. They asked for my address so they could ship me out the Sun Oven, and it never came. Never came. And right about that same time, they were selling out, they were changing hands. And I kind of forgot about it for a little while and then decided to reach out to them again. It's like, I never received this. And then the people I was talking to were like, we don't know anything about that. I said, well, I was promised I was going to get this Sun Oven so I could do a review. And they claimed they looked through their accounts and didn't see anything about it, but I don't believe it. But whatever. Or maybe all of that information got deleted or lost when they changed hands. I don't know how that stuff works. I really don't. But it was really disappointing. But just like the garden stock, I also heard that the American Sun Oven was also one of those companies that if you didn't sell enough of their product as an affiliate, they would just delete your affiliate account. So maybe they changed their mind with me. I don't know, even though I hadn't had a chance to even review it. And I'm assuming that's what Garden Stock or Greenstock did to me. Garden Well is the name of the company. Greenstock is the name of their product. I'm kind of wondering if that's why Greenstock deleted my affiliate account, is because maybe I wasn't talking about them enough or selling enough product. I don't know. I mean, they never told me. Maybe if they told me, I would know. I don't know if I had any more to say about solar oven cooking, but regardless, it is easy. I love the fact that you can just stick your stuff in there and basically forget about it for the most part. With me, it's like I don't always hook because the type of solar oven I have, the reflectors, if you want them to stay in place, you got to actually hook them in. That's if the wind blows. And I don't always do that, especially if it's not a windy day. But then all of a sudden a wind gust will come up and you hear those reflectors fall into the deck. But it's not far. They don't break. I mean, it was totally fine. So I got to go back and fix it. So it is better in my case because of our situation that I hear, when I'm doing something in the solar oven. But I have left before and just set the solar oven in a place where it would get most of the sun during the time that we were gone, and it worked out okay. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and if you're having a beautiful day, get out there in that sun while you can. And thanks for coming in. Take care, and God bless.